glad you made it. Yeah, come on in and have a seat. So how you doing, Michael?
Look, Mr. Brandauer, I really don't need this. Nothing is up with me. Can I please go? I'm pretty sure I'm missing science.
Well, Michael, let me tell you a little bit real quick, and then if you really are hating the idea, I won't keep you here. You know, counseling is cool because it gives you the chance to talk about things that you might be worried about. And everything you tell me is confidential, so I don't tell people what you say unless I think you're in danger. Then I'd call somebody to try to make sure you're safe. With the new bullying laws, if you tell me you're bullying somebody or being bullied, I have to report that too. And of course, if you tell me a friend of yours is in danger, I'd probably call to make sure that person's safe as well. So you're probably wondering why I asked you to come in here.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Well, your history teacher emailed me because she's worried about you. She said that earlier in the year you had a more upbeat and bright demeanor. You're excited about things and you're happy and cheerful and interactive. But like in the last 10 days or so, she said that you've kind of taken a drop. Like you're not the same kid that she's known throughout most of the year. And she's just worried about that. She's just wondering, has something happened to you that has brought this like feeling of gloom that you seem to be showing? And you know, even as you sit here right now, Michael, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm noticing that you're feeling a little bit closed off, like you don't really want to be here. So, but if you give me just a few minutes, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
You're wrong. Nothing's going on with me. My history teacher's she's all over the place. Nothing's wrong with me.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So what do you think she's talking about?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing my homework. But things have been a bit rough at home, so I have an excuse.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, usually when students come into counseling, I like to find out who they live with. So who do you live with at your house?
I live with my mom and my dad.
Okay. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have one big sister, but she's in college.
Ah, okay. So I bet you miss her.
Not really. She was annoying.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So you're kind of feeling like, whew, I'm glad that I finally have the house to myself.
A bit, but it is nice having a sister when things get rough at home.
Yeah, you know, you've mentioned that a couple of times. So I'm wondering what's going rough for you at home.
My dog, died. Yeah, it died.
I'm sorry to hear that. What was your dog's name?
Okay, fine. I don't actually have a dog.
Oh, so there's something else going on.
Yeah, but I feel weak talking about it.
Yeah, I get the idea that you feel embarrassed, like you don't really want to share.
Yeah, nobody does. It's home.
Well, you know, that's a good point, but like I said, I'm not going to share with people what's going on. You know, it's confidential. I'm not going to go run into your teachers and say, hey, guess what's going on in Michael's life? It just gives you the chance to kind of share what's going on in your life, you know, even if it's outside of school, so that you know that there's somebody else here at school who kind of understands what's going on.
Alright, fine.
So what's going on?
15 days ago, my parents filed a divorce.
Ah, okay. Did you know this was coming on? Is this like a total surprise? Have your parents been fighting for a while?
I knew it was coming ever since my sister left.
Okay.
But I didn't actually expect it to happen.
So it was kind of, you felt blindsided and shocked.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's overwhelming. So how did they tell you?
Simple. One of them just left and my mom just told me that you're not going to be seeing Dad for a while.
Oh, okay. So that's been a lot to worry about. Sounds like you're worried that your dad's just going to leave you behind.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Michael? I have good news for you.
What?
Your dad's your dad. And he's always your dad no matter what. You know, nobody can change that. Now that they've seem to be deciding that they're not going to share their lives together anymore, doesn't mean that you have to abandon your dad.
I know, I'm just worried that my mom's going to find a stepdad, and then what?
Well, has your mom said anything about having somebody new in mind?
No, but I have noticed she's been going out to bars and clubs a lot more.
Okay. So you're thinking maybe she found somebody new that she wants to replace your dad, or that she just wants to go out with and spend time with?
I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
I don't know.
And you don't have to know, Michael. Ultimately, that's her life, and it's her business, you know.
I know, but I'm just 13.
Sure.
I can't do anything about it. I can't go home. I can't drive. I can't do anything.
You know, you're feeling helpless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am.
You know, and that's one of the toughest things you're going through, Michael. You know, when parents are going through this, kids can't do anything to fix that. But there's a flip side to that.
What?
You didn't do anything to make it happen. Your relationship between your parents is 100% theirs. And so, because it's 100% theirs, that means you have no responsibility in what caused it to kind of break apart. But that also means, sadly, that you can't do anything to fix it.
Then what do I do? I don't want to live with my mom, and I don't want to live without my dad.
Yeah, I understand that. So, well, yeah, you're scared about what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so natural what you're going through, Michael, because when you get news like this, it's completely new, you don't expect it, and you're scared about the future. But you know what? I've talked to lots and lots of kids who have gone through this, and you know what they've told me?
What?
They get through it. There's a couple things I want you to remember. Number one is none of this is your fault. You didn't do anything to make any of this happen. That relationship, like I said, is 100% between them. The other thing to remember is, Michael, you're going to get through this. You know, you're going to get through this. I've talked to kids who've been going through this since they were 2 years old, all the way like you, who just found out, and they get through it. The other big thing I want you to remember is that your family is still your family. They might not live in the same house anymore, but you're all still a family. So when I say you're going to get through this, what do you think I mean? I mean, you've been through difficult situations in the past. What did you do to get through those situations?
I just go to sleep, and when I wake up, it's usually gone. The problem's resolving itself, and I hope, but it's too late. My dad already left.
For something like this, yeah. Have you talked to your dad since he left?
No, Mom banned my phone from him. She took out his number, ripped it apart, all pictures of him destroyed and burned.
So she was really upset with him. And that was scary for you to have your parents or your mom be so upset, I'm sure. And you probably couldn't fix that either, so you felt helpless in that situation too.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So you're feeling overwhelmed, but I want to ask again, what have you done in the past to get through some of these difficult situations? You mentioned you go to sleep and hopefully you wake up and things are better. That can work for some things. What else have you done? What other coping skills have you used?
I play on my computer sometimes, and I go outside and ride my bike.
I see, those are great ideas. Well, Michael, I can see you're really worried about this whole situation, and you're probably even worried about your parents. But you know, they're going to get through this situation as well. In fact, really, they have to start to resolve things, because what happens is when parents get divorced, is there's a process they go through the court system. And parents a lot of times go to the judge and say, hey, I want custody of my kids, and the other parent's going to say, no, I want the custody. And then the judge, and they have to work all that stuff out. And so the good news is you don't have to make the decision. In fact, really, you don't even get much involvement in it. They're just going to decide for you that, hey, we're going to have you live with this person for a while and that person for a while. A lot of times I've talked to students, they'll go to their dads on the weekends, live with their moms on the weekdays. And I have tissues there if you want them. Sometimes kids will live with one parent for a week and then they'll live with the other parent the next week.
Yeah, but I don't want to go to 2 different schools. My dad moved away from another state. And my mom can't afford to drive to California or to fly to California every weekend.
Oh, so your dad moved to California?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, usually what happens in those cases then is on vacations, like on Christmas vacation, winter break, you'll go there to see your dad, and then on...
But my mom doesn't want to see him.
Well, she doesn't have to.
I know, but she doesn't want to drive anywhere near him.
Yeah, and if the court decides that that your parents have split custody or shared custody, your parents will work that out. That's not for you to worry about anyway. That's not your job to arrange your Uber taxi trip or anything like that. Your parents will work that out. Well, what I'm wondering about, your parents have obviously been going through this for a while. I mean, have they been upset with each other? Did they just stop talking to each other?
They were upset at each other. It all happened when my sister left. They were arguing whether she should have went over to New York or stayed here.
Okay. So it sounds like maybe that was the catalyst that kind of started all of this fighting between your parents. But you know, none of this is your sister's fault either. It's almost like it just kind of gave them the freedom maybe, now that she's out of the house, to kind of start to begin that process of separating their lives.
Yeah, I was in bed sometimes and then I hear my mom screaming and I hear my dad yelling and cussing at her.
Yeah, so it's kind of scary. How did you get through those nights?
Like I said, I covered my ears and I went to sleep.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you didn't try to get involved with your parents' fights. I mean, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. That the relationship is between them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you handled it that way. Have you been able to talk to your dad on the phone?
Like I said, my mom burned everything with him.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to him if you could?
I miss him. I want him to come back.
Absolutely.
I want to do what's best for me and not just what's best for him.
You know, this reminds me of a situation that I had one time with a student. His older brother was like his dad because he lived with just his mom and his brother. He didn't know anything about his dad. And his brother all of a sudden joined the Navy. And I said, "Oh my gosh, what are you going to do?" And he said, "Well, I have this idea, Mr. Banner. I have a box." I said, "Are you going to mail him some things?" He said, "No, I have a box that I'm going to put things in. And so like every time I'm missing them, I'm going to draw a picture and I'm going to put it in the box. Or if I want to write him a letter or something, I'm going to put it in that box. Or if I have a paper I'm proud of at school, I'm going to put it in that box. And then when I see him again, I'm going to get that box out and get all those papers out and just kind of go through those papers with him and show him all the things I was thinking about, the things I was doing." And I was really impressed with how wise he was. He said, that way, even though he's gone, it's going to sort of feel like he's here because I'm still doing things for him. And even though I can't share them with him today, I'm going to share them with him when he comes back. What do you think of that idea?
Pretty well.
Yeah, because I mean, it gives you the chance to keep your relationship with your dad alive and present, even though you're not telling him at the moment. You're still going to tell him about these things when you see him again. Because you know what, Michael? You're going to see him again.
I will?
Well, you know, unless there's more to this situation than we don't realize. I mean, if your dad hasn't committed a crime and is committed to prison, or if he hasn't left the country or something like that, everything should be fine. Now, if he just took a job in California and moved there, yeah, you'll be able to see him again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and your mom will come to understand that. You know, she knows that you've had a relationship with your dad. She knows how much that you love your dad, and so she's gonna come around to the fact that your dad is your dad, and that you want your dad in your life. So, and she'll come around to that.
Thanks, Mr. Badauer.
You know, these things take time, Michael, but I guarantee you're going to get through it all. And keep using those coping strategies. Keep doing those things that are helping you out.
I will.
All right.
Could I give you a hug, Mr. Badauer?
Well, you bet. We can get you a hug. And then I'm going to have to send you back to class because we're getting later in the day, and I don't want you to miss too much of history.
All right.